What is it about First Lady Michelle Obama's dress in this painting by Amy Sherald that keeps us captivated? In this final lesson of the Element of Shape series, we'll uncover the story behind the shapes and how artists use shapes to express themselves and tell their visual story. Then I'll guide you through a printmaking project where you'll create your own personal symbol using geometric and organic shapes. Hey artists, welcome back to the Element of Art series. Today we're wrapping up the exploration of shape with a very special art project, one that connects art, history, and personal storytelling. The dress that Michelle Obama is wearing in the painting was designed by Michelle Smith for her fashion label, Millie, and it features a long, flowing skirt covered in bold geometric shapes. Let's take a closer look at the shapes themselves. At first glance, you see a bold pattern, but notice how the rectangles and triangles create rhythm and movement throughout the fabric. The long, vertical shapes draw our eyes upward, emphasizing Michelle Obama's tall, graceful posture. The sharp edges of the geometric forms contrast with the soft, organic flow of the folds in the gown. The black and white shapes provide balance and structure, while the pops of color bring warmth, energy, and personality. If you look closely, the repeating shapes almost resemble a modern quilt, where each block of shape and color adds to a bigger picture. So these aren't just shapes, they're symbols. They represent power, purpose, and connection. Amy Sherald wasn't just painting fashion, she was capturing Michelle Obama's style in a way that was both modern and rooted in American history. The geometric shapes reminded Sherald of Dutch artist Piet Mondrian's abstract art, but they also reflected the quilting traditions of the woman from Gee's Bend, Alabama. The Gee's Bend community has been home to generations of Black women who have skillfully transformed pieces of fabric into bold geometric quilt masterpieces since the 19th century. Piet Mondrian used strong geometric shapes and color to create balance and harmony, giving his art a sense of visual stability and appeal. Amy Sherald saw both influences in Michelle Obama's dress: the modern structure of geometric design and the organic rhythm of handcrafted quilts. Together, they create a portrait that tells a story of history, hope, and identity, all through the element of shape. So, what can shapes do? Shapes build structure. Artists often begin drawings by breaking subjects into simple geometric shapes in order to get the proportions right. Watch how I begin this drawing with shapes to build the structure of the guitar. Two ovals and a long, thin rectangle. The shapes will show me the different parts of the guitar as I trace around them to complete the outline. Shapes can express emotions, thoughts, and personality. From the last video, we know that geometric shapes feel stable, balanced, and orderly, while organic shapes feel natural, free, and expressive. Amy Sherald used both the geometric structure of the dress and the organic flow of the figure to tell a story about strength, grace, and heritage. Her triangular composition, similar to Renaissance paintings, gives Michelle Obama an appearance of stability and dignity. Now it's your turn to use shapes to tell a story. You'll be creating a symbol, a design made of shapes that represents something about you. Symbols are everywhere, from emojis and road signs to logos and cultural patterns. They communicate ideas without words. In Ghana, there's a rich tradition of symbols called Adinkra. Each Adinkra symbol has meaning, representing a proverb, life event, or cultural values. They were originally stamped on cloth and used for ceremonies, and today they are celebrated all over the world as symbols of African identity and philosophy. Think of your symbol the same way: a personal design that expresses something meaningful about who you are, what you can do, or what you believe. So let's get started on the project. The materials you will need are an 8 by 10 inch or larger piece of cardboard. You can cut up an old box for this. We will make this into a thick block that you can glue your stamp to. Any type of sturdy foam, like a styrofoam plate or craft foam. You can purchase craft foam at Michael's Art Store or the Dollar Tree. You can use anything spongy but strong. You will need paper to draw out your stencil, construction paper, thick paper, or fabric to print on, a pencil, scissors, tape, glue, a paper plate for your paint palette, a flat paintbrush, and your shapes worksheet that we made in the last shapes video. Let's create. We're going to make the cardboard block first. Cut 2 squares from your cardboard, about 5 by 5 inches. They don't have to be perfect because you're only using these pieces to make the block for your stamp. Once the pieces are cut out, glue them together and allow them to dry. Once dry, we can use the block to make sure that our shapes are the right size. Take a look at your shapes worksheet. Choose a few shapes that you like. Remember the Adinkra symbols? As the artist, you decide what your symbol represents. Combine geometric and organic shapes to create something new and unique. Feel free to make new shapes. Once you've decided on which shapes to use, draw them over on a new sheet of paper inside of a square that is the same size as the cardboard square that you just glued together. Make sure that you draw shapes in all 4 corners. Now cut the entire square out. We're going to use this as a stencil to cut the shapes out of the styrofoam plate. Cut around the flat center of the plate. Tape your stencil down and cut out the shapes. This can be tricky if you have small shapes, so cut them larger if it becomes too challenging, or use an X-Acto knife. Arrange them on the cardboard before gluing them down. When you print, your image will appear as a mirror image. All of your shapes will be on the opposite side. Once you're happy with your design, glue the shapes down and allow them to dry completely. Set your paper out that you will print your stamp on. Squeeze some of the paint out onto your palette. Use your paintbrush to apply paint evenly to the raised areas. Press your stamp firmly onto the paper, applying pressure to the back of the cardboard without moving it. Then lift it straight up. You've made your first print. It will take a few tries to get it right. Apply more paint after each print. I named my symbol Continue to Create. You've just created a personal symbol using shapes, a design that tells your story or represents you. Remember, shapes aren't just for structure, they help us express ideas and emotions too. Be sure to subscribe to our next Elements of Art video, where we'll explore space, the element that helps your artwork feel deep and alive. Thanks for watching and keep creating.